morning, everyone, and actually thank you for taking the time to join today. I'm Eve Ng, so I'm actually Senior Functional Consultant and also Acumedica Business Consultant with CRT Insights Technology. So over the past few years, I've been involved in multiple ERP project implementations across different industries. When we are working closely with the finance team to design the process, to strengthen the control and also improve the reporting visibility. And actually one common thing that I always observe is the finance team is always spending a lot of time in checking, filtering, sampling, and also cross-referencing the data. Not because they want to, it's the only way to gain the confidence in the number. So, and I'm also a HRD Corp accredited trainer. So beyond the system implementations, I actually regularly conduct structured training sessions to help on the finance and also the operation teams to maximize the system capabilities and also strengthen the governance compliance. Okay, then what excites today is about the topic. We are not going to say adding more works to the finance, but we are talking about letting the system to do the checking for you. So the finance can actually focus on reviewing, investigating, and also making better decisions. So today, I will walk through to you on how anomaly detection in Acumedica that helps you to move from manual checking to intelligent monitoring. Okay. Let me quickly walk through you what we will cover today. First, we will actually briefly look at what and why traditional transactions review methods often fall short, especially when you are dealing with full transactions populations. Then we will actually go to practical scenarios whereby we will show you some case using the generic inquiry, and we will start to detecting unusual AP payment patterns, so such as repeated payment amounts or irregular behaviors. Then next, we will actually look at the abnormal vendor's invoice amount, whereby the system identify the deviations from the historical average amount. Okay. And then we will actually move to the revenue patterns breaks in AR. This is actually to identify the unexpected drops or spikes compared to historical trend. After that, we will also review on the month-end GL anomalies, including those rare account usage, unusual timing, and also the average deviation patterns. Finally, then we will actually look through how to turn on anomaly alerts into practical actions so the finance team can actually continue investigate efficiently and also make decision confidently and strengthen the oversights without increasing workload. So let's start with what this capability actually means. Where's my mouse gone? Excuse me. Second. Okay. So Acumedica AI-enabled financial monitoring is actually designed to automatically identify transactions that is deviate from normal patterns. Instead of you relying on manual filtering or random sampling, the system analyzes full transactions populations and learn the historical behavior over time. And it does not just flag those large amounts. It understands the patterns for you. So for example, right, what is a typical invoice amount for a vendor? What is a normal pattern payment frequency it looks like? An example on what does a month-end posting usually looks like. So next example, they can find the pattern is what are the revenue trend is expected for a customer. When something deviates from this pattern, the system will highlight it for you to review. The key point here is the system will check the data for you. The finance will review the insights. So this shift from finance from spending time searching for the issue, searching for the data, to focusing on the investigation and also the decision making. And that's where the AI machine learning supports the finance oversights. Not replacing your judgment, but enhancing your judgment. Okay. If you compare to a traditional review and also the AI monitoring review, okay, the difference now you see very clear. Traditional review is always sample-based. You will pick a few sample, and then from the sample, you will do the monitoring and checking on the review. However, AI monitoring evaluates 100% of your transactions. It will go and search all the data in the system according to the parameters that you have put in for the anomaly to be detected. Traditional reviews depends on manual filters. However, AI comes in, monitoring applies to the pattern that the recognitions of the patterns. Traditional review is actually reactive. AI monitoring is actually proactive. So what's the result then? You will have less time searching, and you do have more time to investigating what is truly matters to you. Okay. So traditional review, when it's structured around tools like you are using Excel, you are using sampling and doing reconciliations by using filtering and pivoting. These methods, however, depends on what we choose to look at. They do not automatically identify to you the patterns, and those patterns that you did not expect will not be exposed out. And that is where the risk exists in the unexpected. So when review is in sample base, the coverage is actually partial, it's not fully coverage. So when review is manual, your effort is high. You will need a lot of time to go and search for data, search for transactions. And when anomalies comes in, so anomalies discovered only at the month end, and your controls become reactive. That's the gaps that the AI monitoring is designed to address on this. So when we are in AI assisted, to summarize this simply, traditional review, you need to search first. AI assisted review, you will have detection. Traditional reviews, you will require a lot of effort to find anomalies. AI-assisted review, they highlight the anomalies for you. So the results still the same. You will have less time in searching and do have more time in investigation. So let's go to our evolutions today for the finance. We will use these 4 cases to do a discussion today. First, we will discuss on the unusual payment patterns, and then we'll talk about your AR revenue patterns break. And we will also talk about your AP, the abnormal vendor invoice amount. Lastly, we will also talk about the month-end GL entries that the finance always go and do adjustment at the month end. So how are we going to do in here? Our evolutions comes in. First, let us change our roles today, and I'll be using the system to show you as well in here. Let's change our role today to become a finance detective. Okay. This is actually Acumatica in the versions of 2025 R2. The latest versions, we have these GI anomaly detection functions. So now I'm going to show you these unusual payment patterns. Okay. When I'm looking at here, this is actually not a report that I manually filter in Excel. This is actually a full populations of the review of my payment behavior. So traditionally, if you want to detect some unusual payment, okay, I would need to do export of payment. I will go and register. I will go and check all my payment register. I will go and check my payment voucher, sort all my vendor, filter to the amounts that you try to identify these duplicates manually. However, now when I put in anomaly detection, the system has already done the behavior analysis for me. So I did not do anything. I just go to unusual payment pattern, the generic inquiry that we have created using anomaly detections. And the system has done the behavior analysis for me. So for example, we go on to see this significant example. The vendor name is go to vendor. The typical pattern here is say monthly consistent amount. But here the system detects it, same amount repeated within a month. As a detective now immediately trigger the question, hey, is this a duplicate payment? Or this is a split payment? Or this is a system processing error? So what is this? Then you will try to check this. And actually you can direct drill in from here to see how come one is printed, one is closed. So the important part is I did not tell the system what to look for, right? It actually go and find the analysis, do the analysis for me on the behavior, how these documents being created. Then we can actually check from here, is it double payment, duplicate payment? So just to confirm, are these with applications? Check and confirm. And you can actually drill in further. So you will have more time in investigating and less time to do the searching. So now from the screen, actually the system learn how your historical payment behavior, and then they will compare on all the current transactions against the pattern. Okay, then the system actually checks for you. And now I'm doing the review. System do the checking, finance do the review. Okay. So next we will move on this yellow color rows. So now you look at the yellow rows and you look at the anomaly levels. Some are medium, some actually are significant. So means you can prioritize your investigations. And like, for example, I am a finance detective now. I need to prioritize my investigations, right? Instead of looking at all the 5,000 payments that I have, sorry, let's go to all records. Then you see, instead of I have a 3,000 records here, I need to review all the 3,000 records. However, I only review those flagged. And I review those 10 that is red first. This does not block the payment. And actually the approvals all does not override. It is only highlight to you those unusual behavior for your professional judgment. Okay, in the past, we look for problem. We need to look one by one, the problem. Or we just do a simple filter from here. We go and filter the payment amount. And we filter from here more than greater than 50,000, then it will actually flag for you. So you will go and check. Okay, so this is the past. We search for problem. Okay, if we put in anomalies, the anomalies now is telling you the problem at where they surface the problem to you. So instead of you building a pivot tables in the Excel every month, you do everything manually in Excel, then now the system continuously scan the payment behavior in the background for you. If I create a new payment records now, then the system starts to continue scan the payment transactions for you. And you just have to focus on what actually looks unusual. So this is actually an exception-based review. Any question in these unusual payment patterns? So if no, then we will actually go to our second case. That is actually the revenue pattern breaks. Same things that I will be showing you using my GI. Let's go to the revenue pattern break GI. So from here, then you will see more. Okay. We move out from our cash going out, and then now we go to our revenue coming in. As a finance professional, so the revenue fluctuation will worry us more than a small payments duplicate. Right? So what we are looking at is actually not a sales report. It's a behavior of your customer revenue patterns. The revenues comes in high or under, or match the normal, not match the average transactions. So let's go to our historical pattern. Okay, we created this anomaly with these historical patterns. The system will actually understand how your customer typically behave. For example, this brass key bar customer. Okay, their revenue pattern is actually 10,000 per transactions. However, these two transactions comes in with only 5,000. The system detect the insights and tell you the revenue has been dropped significantly, 50% of the historical pattern. Then the anomaly level, they will put in significant for you. The results of the anomaly, they will put in for you, this is abnormal. Biasa, every time the brass key bar will give you 10,000 sales, 10,000 revenue. How come these 2 months, these 2 days, these 2 transactions is less than that? And it dropped 50%. So they mark abnormal for you. Okay, of course, the credit status, they are still within okay. That means they did not owe you any money. All right, so what you're looking at here is we will go and review. We will go and analyze. Okay, then what does this mean when it drops? So from here, the insights that we could see is any billing error, or this one is with projects, any projects delay, or there is any customer dispute or not. Or does this link with any revenue recognitions problem that I have actually not yet recognized the revenue? So what is the problems here? Directly, you will have insights on, I need to check on this customer. I need to check on these 2 documents. Right? So you don't have to search one by one and believe on your instinct, I want to check on this customer brass key bar. You will just directly see from the GI, and it will flex for you which customer that you need to check first. Okay, and actually, I did not manually compare this against on the 3 years invoice. The system checked the historical behavior automatically, 100% on all the transactions being created in the system. Now the system monitors the revenue patterns for you, and I investigation the deviation. Okay. So let's check on the green row here. So we talk about this Borders Books, Music and Cafe. The detected insight shows you match normal revenue trend. There is no red flag. There is no unnecessary investigation. Okay, then this is very important because this one avoid you false alarm. Then you no need to go and check one by one. So first we actually may filter all the green out. Then we'll just check on the significant first. So it prioritize for you which one to check first. And we can actually put in filters to group all the significant here. Give me a second. So when we are in the significant level, this is all the documents that I need to check. So it actually reduced from a 66 records. Then it highlights for me, oh, you only need to check 31 records that has significant abnormal results. Okay, and we also can make this credit on hold. For example, the customer is in this equity group. They will give you a revenue of average pattern is 3.6 million. However, in February, they give you a significant drop revenue. Okay, only 95,000. And the status here showing credit on hold. So means what? Again, you will just direct to investigate. Is they owing me money? Or there is any late due they have not paid us yet? So the results come here is credit on hold. Then you will get to notice here, when you go to your invoice, actually the status is on hold. Your AR not able to proceed this invoice. Okay, then until you remove the credit hold, then only we can proceed the invoice. So from here, you will able to check they have due that never pay you and actually already passed the due date. So we don't have to go and search for records. The system already highlight for you. Okay, what you need to do is prioritize the things that you want to see and then start your investigation. So this is actually not about finding accounting's error. This is actually to detect early business signal. I did not say these are actually accounting errors are wrong. Okay, we are telling you that you can actually detect on the business signal, your revenue drop. What happens to revenue drops? Is your customer already have a slowdown of business? Any price changing? Any contract adjustment that comes in? Or any margin erosions? So in the past, I would need to export out my customer revenue or my customer ledger entries to the Excel, and then we build the comparisons, correct? So now the system actually continue to monitor for me on the behavior patterns. Then what I just need to do is I only focus on the deviates. So you will have more time to check on the deviates instead of putting more times and effort in building manual reports, manual Excel reportings, and also export the data out to Excel to continue your comparisons. Okay. So the third case that we're going to look through will be a little bit serious. We are not taking on the payment pattern. We are taking on the invoice amount deviation. So this will be our AP invoice. What the system do here is actually comparing each of your vendor invoice against its historical pattern. Okay, let's check on here. The expected value. This column actually tells you the system check and expect based on their past behavior. Okay, for example, let's move to this line, the red line. Okay, this due soft toy supply. AP amount is actually 1 million. The expected value that system counts for you, average also is only 84,000. How come now this AP bill is 1 million? So the anomaly severity they marking here is significant. So here they tell you this vendor normally invoice around 84,000. But how come this invoice is 1 million? So as a finance, immediately require investigation. Then your detective nature comes out. You will say, I want to check on this more. So what has caused this? You will start to think, any bulk order or any price increase? Or is it this is a data entry error? Or maybe there is a wrong currency? Or maybe when they key in, they put extra zero. 84,000, go 100,000 also. Just how many zero? Suddenly become 7 digit. So is it because of typo? Any fraud here? But of course, the system don't accuse you lah. They never say, oh, you do wrong. They only alert. They tells you something is not right in this line. Please check. Please review. Okay? Then in the past, we will need to export all the invoices. We will need to calculate all the average. And then we will try to detect all the outliers. So here, now, the system actually scans automatically for you each vendor invoice across multiple years. Since the first day you start to use the system. Okay? The system checks for you. You do the review. Why I say since the first day? When I put in this screen, I purposely put the date is from 1st January 2013, 2013. And the date 2 is actually until these few days, 25th of February 2026. So the system actually automatically put in all the documents that you do for each vendor every day, every timing, and then they scan and check for you to check on the behavior. So let's go back to our system again. And we go to this abnormal vendor invoice. Okay. Then we go for our significant. Again, we check on this new soft toy supply. So in here, what we can do is, actually, this is actually to protect our company as well. If a 1 million invoice is incorrect and we detect it after the payment, so the recovery process is very painful. You need to call bank, you need to call your vendor, you need to say you pay it wrongly, and then you need to ask for the vendor to return the money back to you. So that will be very painful process. So we have to detect it before the approval is controlled. Of course, don't wait until the status is closed, then only you check on here. In my demo data, we try to use a different data to show you. Okay, so in here, you will see there is a comment here. And actually, there is a review checkbox for you to use. So in this GI, what we can do is, we can actually check. After we do the checking or review, you can actually put in like say, oh, this is actually part of the price going to increase. So restock for more. Then we can say we actually review this. So done with the review. Then you can put in the comment. Okay, not all the rows they say is significant. Some of the row is also telling you that this is actually medium anomaly. Medium anomaly. So how to derive this significant and medium? Later, I will show you where we will put in the configurations of the parameters. However, let us finish the case first. So in here, in my all invoice, I have 4,457 records. So, but not all the transaction is being flagged called severity significant. And again, this allows you to prioritize what you need to review first. Okay, you will review those very unusual first, and after that, only continue on the medium workload. So, how come there is a yellow marking here, but there is no anomaly severity? Okay, this is actually, system will tell you, the minimum requirement is at least you give me 10 records for this particular vendor. Then I can actually group this and analyze for you based on 10 records. Those without yellow row, okay, those are with transaction, there is more than 10 records. Yellow markings tells you, I cannot calculate for you. The transaction, maybe you only have one AP invoice for this vendor. You do not have additional invoice for me to count for you. So they will need actually minimum 10 of the records to start to calculate for you the expected value and also the anomaly severity. So now we say AI actually don't reduce your responsibility. You will still need to go and check and review. For this without 10 documents vendor, if you want to check and review, you will still need to have your responsibility to go and comment, to go and review the transactions. Okay, AI don't reduce your responsibility, but it actually reduce blind spot for you. So is this actually an increasing workload? I would say no. It actually reduce manual filters for you, manual filtering, and actually increase your investigative focus time. Then how to detect anomalies? Final, we have our month-end GL entries. We have reviewed just now our cash movement. We have reviewed our revenue patterns. And now we have to review the book themselves. Our chart of account, GL, General Ledger Transactions. This is where the reporting integrity lives. So first thing is, in these GL anomalies, slightly different a little bit. We put in on the patterns. We have a few patterns here. The system will actually learn how your accounts normally behave. Okay, then what I show you, we have a few patterns here because GL is quite a big numbers of transactions in the system if you use the system for a year. Okay, for example, this one, how many years? 2013 until now, 2026. I already have almost 100,000 of records on the journal entries. So how are we going to view this one by one or check on the abnormal transactions? Instead of we put in anomalies, we put in the behavior types. So for example, we put in these patterns called rare usage, month end, or average amount. So for example, this is rare usage. Very rare you will use this GL account. You will never do any posting for these accounts. Suddenly you check month end, how come have transactions? How come there is a landed cost variance? How comes there is a fixed asset being purchased? So they will tell you unusual accounts combinations and also unusual timing. Normally, you will not use this GL during this time. They tell you the unusual part and they tells you the anomaly levels. This is very significant. Red color, you must check here first. Okay, then the average. The average pattern amounts here tells you average your AP is actually 3 million to 300,000 to 500,000. Okay, then this one lower. They did not tell you the wrong, they just tells you average is this much. How come this transaction so low? The amount is far lower than the historical range. So they mark as significant. And then it's your turn to decide you will need to review these transactions or no. Okay, then let's go to our next pattern that we have for GL is month-end pattern. You will do month-end posting for these types of transactions. And then they will tell you this is actually normal. Every month, you also have this transaction. And every month, your amount is actually normal. Okay, some accounts when in month end, suddenly will spike. So let's go to our system again. We go to our month end anomalies. Some accounts, month end, definitely will spike. Example, your accrual accounts, your rounding difference account, currency adjustment account. So how are we going to check all this accrual? Whereby now system already marking for you. When you check your GL, you will go and check on your trial balance. You will go and check on your P&L. And then from there, you drill in. But now, when the system understands the patterns for you, they only flags you the transactions that has problem directly for you. Okay. And then the system, you see, they do not flag on the month-end behavior. Let's go to month-end. All the month-end, they will tell you this is actually normal. It's your month-end posting. So, but when the month-ends comes, let's see if my month-end have any anomalies or not. My month-end is very healthy. There is no anomalies. Okay, so in the GI that we created for month-end, normal is very normal. On the rare use, then they will show you this is all the rare usage. Okay, under the rare use, is there any normal transaction? No. So the important is when they flag for you, then you have to go and check. You direct start your detective and check whether this transaction is it correct or not. For example, right, rare use, let's see. I do not have any special accounts to show here. let's have some special accounts here, like this, undeposited fund clearing accounts. Very rare use accounts. How come suddenly there is a entries here, 141,000? So they will flag for you. This is very unusual. Okay. Suddenly, if this account is being suddenly used, then we have to check, right? Is my control have problem? Is it my configurations on my chart of account for the control account is not correct? How come there is a transactions being added here? It doesn't mean a fraud. It does not mean anything. It is telling you the behavior is unusual. Okay? The system is just telling you something is not right. This one you never used before. Suddenly you use. So check first. Okay? So in the past, we will actually manually scan all the thousands of journals, right? You will go and see your trial balance, and then you run through all the figures, you check one by one. And now the system actually highlights for you the one that is deviate from the historical patterns. Okay. Again, we say the system actually monitor for you. And as a finance, we evaluate this. This is actually not about finding any mistakes or anything errors. This is actually to strengthen our reporting governance. On your large manual journal, unusual combinations, unexpected spikes, these are actually what the auditors will look at. So before you gonna review by the auditor, you review them first. Okay? Then instead of we look at all the 5,000 journal entries, I only review on those 5 that looks unusual. Right? That's a smarter control for us. And you have to know not all this red color is wrong. Some is actually flagged for your judgment. Okay, we need to go and judge this, whether this is correct or wrong. I don't say all the red item is wrong, but we need to judge it. So far, you have seen all the results. These are actually the results. Okay. So far, this is actually the results. So now I will show you how simple is this to enable the anomaly detection. Okay. We have GI. Let's go to GI. These are all listing, GI listing. Okay. We can actually go for the GI and we say we want to detect anomalies. This is from the new versions. Okay, so when we are in the GI, we tick detect anomaly. Okay, this is actually not a separate module. It's actually a built-in capability. The GIs have in all the Acumatica versions. However, these built-in capabilities only valid in 2025 R2 onwards. Okay, to enable this anomaly detection, we just have to simply tick on this option, detect anomalies. So on the option checkbox, we tick it. That's it. Then we will move to this anomaly detection. Okay, first thing, of course, you will need to tell system what is the fields that you want to analyze. For example, just now we are in AP invoice, right? So we would need to analyze the amount on the invoice amount. Then we define what we want in the system to analyze. So example, we put in, we want to analyze vendor. in this example, we analyze each vendor invoice amount. Okay, then after that, we will move to our date field. Okay, the timeline you need to put in. This allows system to factor the in-time progression. If we select the date, then the system will understand, oh, I need to find according to the invoice date. Okay, if we did not put in any dates, we did not put in the timeline, it's not date, without static comparison. Okay, with date, then we will have a trend awareness, trend detection. Then steps 4, we will go to our grouping. We will group according to the vendor. That means each vendor historical pattern is being analyzed separately. If you did not put any grouping, then everything looks normal. But with grouping, right, your deviation, your hidden deviation will be appear. Okay? So last steps is we will go to our update frequency, which is here. You can actually put this on demand. Okay, on demand means the system will determine how many often you want this anomaly to run. You can actually put a job queue to run every day. You can also put this demand to run during the month-end review. You can also put this on demand whenever you want. Whenever you want to do anomaly detections, let's show here, sorry. Let's go back to our anomaly. Little bit slow. We can actually put in by daily, by weekly, by monthly. Okay, or we do it in a job queue, or you put it on demand. On demand is every time you view the inquiry, you start to detect anomalies. Okay, so here the configuration is actually quite simple. Just one tick, put in what is the fields that you want to analyze, put in the timeline, whether it's no timeline or with date, and start your grouping. Okay, configuration is really simple. The intelligence already built in for you. So now the finance will control the logic. Why we say so? Because we put in the analysis that you want to see, and the timeline you want to see, and the grouping that you want to see. That's why I say finance will control the logic. So instead of you export this to Excel, building up formulas outside, we define this logic one time in the system, and then the system will actually continuously monitor the behavior for you. That's scalable control the system can provide you. So the evolutions of the finance, from your manual review to intelligent financial oversights. The system monitors for you, but the finance will do the leading, okay, to check for you. From reactive checking, now we become to proactive checking. From sampling, then to full populations review. From manual filtering, and then now we're going to pattern recognitions. And the most important part, from your reporting the past, from reporting the past tense to protecting the business. That is the evolutions of the finance today with AI assisted. Okay. Next, on the continue on the evolutions, we will having a lunch and learn on Q2. Then we will actually talk more about the AI, about GL anomalies, and also we'll do some case study and also some of the generic inquiry that we able to show you the sample, how we use AI assisted. And this discussion we will have this event on Q2 2026. It's actually a lunch and learn event. So you may actually follow our page, stays in to check when the event will be launched. If we are not wrong, it will be in the Q2. So let us know if you are joining for this lunch and learn when you receive the invitations from our marketing. Thank you for your time today. I hope you learned something today.